I wasn't sure if the tank had blown out, the structural integrity of the building had been compromised, or somehow the CO2 tank for the calcium reactor exploded. All I knew is that I was in trouble. What's up, Reef Builders? Salem Clemens here. This has been a year of surprises, and why not one more? What you're about to see might be a little bit chaotic, but I attempted to capture everything in the moment, and I certainly did not have access to a nice studio, a camera, or mics, because I had to act. I'm in the studio, and you're about to see why it's going to be a lot different. Here is our nice December morning. I was writing some articles, and a car hit the side of the building. Heard an extremely loud noise. I thought somehow the calcium reactor's CO2 tank had exploded. Snapped all of the plumbing from the IMs to our first flat here. The wall is caved in. No electrical damage. I don't think the IM or the flat is cracked right now, thank God, but there is a lot of water. What a time to be alive. After some frantic investigation, it turns out an employee at the mechanics next door got in one of their clients' cars, the brakes were out, and it had just iced. That led to the car sliding into the building. I got, Chris Cap's coming, Rob Boucher's coming, I got my girlfriend coming to help. The place next door has offered to help quite a bit, so what I don't know is if there's leaks on this first flat or the first Innovative Marine or any of these Innovative Marines. So I just did cord management on this tank, so that sucks. I'm gonna have to take it all down to replace the wall. So pretty defeated feeling, to be honest. Sunk a lot of time into here trying to get stuff cleaned up and fixed the last couple of months, the last couple of weeks especially. It's been non-stop the last 2 months I've been up here. I woke up today and I said, all right, I finally got the tank styled in. I've got time, I can just focus on recording. So I was gonna record a video, Tunes, however you pronounce it, sent us their new pump, the 6075. I was gonna record an unboxing and review of that. We were the first ones to have it. The timing was gonna work out great. We are gonna do a studio update and tour of everything, showing the work I've done. And I was gonna discuss my plans for everything. And then we're gonna get our first box of coral in there. And really, really sucks timing wise. But just another hill we have to climb up. So here we are. Yeah, it might be a slow leak on the second IM. So we have to move everything from this wall because we have to redo the wall. Additionally, this sump is now leaking. And at least as far as I know right now, this back pane is cracked on this Innovative Marine. I'm not sure about the other tanks right now. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to tear down the IM wall and the flat. We're taking this second flat, moving the mode, putting the second flat on this wall, doing a tank transfer, everything from here to there. It's got its own standalone sump already. And then we're gonna drain and break down all of these. And luckily, we just got lighting on the 375 from Reef to Light 2 days ago. And the 375 is ready to rock. So I'm gonna salvage equipment and move all the coral here. And it's gonna work as a surrogate tank for now. And then we're gonna redo the wall, and hopefully by reef stock, we will redo this again and have a new vision of the Innovative Marine wall, and we'll be rocking. Hopefully this flat is not leaking. That's my biggest concern because these are really nice and all three match. But that's where we're at right now. For those wondering, we recently replaced the acrylic flats with new glass ones. They were beaten and warped after years of use, so we figured it was time to upgrade. We plan to do this video in a little bit better spirits to show you all off how cool they were and discuss the plans for 2025. This is under different context, so welcome to the new flats. is helping us plumb everything like the master he is. And what tool do you have, Chris? I had never seen one of these.
This is an Aqueon bulkhead wrench. 3/4 inch, 1 inch. Goes on there just perfectly. Tight spots. It's the greatest thing on the planet.
I tried to plug in the vortex. The power supplies got smoked. They got wet. They started smoking. But luckily, we just received the new Tunes NanoStream 6075. So we're going to put this new wave maker to use to keep the coral alive in the Reef Builders flat. And we've cracked it open. All of Tunes stuff is manufactured and produced in Bavaria and Germany, I believe, which separates them from a lot of companies. You can see really nice packaging so far. Pretty sleek looking design, to be honest. I've not really seen something that's designed quite like this. We're gonna run this through the entire gauntlet that we did in our last Wavemaker review. But right now, we're gonna get this up and running so we can use this and it can be put to use. Shout out to Tunes for sending us this new model. It certainly came in handy. Obviously can't say what the flow is like without testing the actual pattern, but one cool design feature here is that all of this is on a swivel. So even if this is a directional, which it looks like it might have a little bit of diversity and flow to it, you can still adjust it about any which way, which I've not seen in a lot of other wave makers. Also, really high quality cable as well. I will plug it in, and there we go. We've got some flow. Really nice little controller here. Pulse, max power, analog or manual. Got a food button. Really sturdy feeling controller. So we'll have more of an objective view on this soon. We are bare bones, but we have it in the tank and we've got flow by a heater. This sump on this second flat was partially wet, so we're gonna drain it, remove it. Got the Seachate Ultra Zero going all the way over to the sink. We keep these on hand for things just like this. They are, clean the skimmer cup while we're at it. It's the Ultra Reef skimmer, super nice one, really pulls some gunk. But these are, the Seachate Ultra Zeros are super nice for instances like this where you gotta move a lot of water long ways. After that, we started to transfer coral from all of the tanks on the wall to the new flat that had been plumbed. And then we had to move the tanks off the wall. There's a lot of pests in all of these tanks. I was gonna make a video treating all the flatworms. After Jake passed, there was still acro-eating flatworms, money-eating nudies, everything. We now have to transfer all this coral forcibly into the 375. So I'm gonna be dipping everything. I'm not gonna have time to scrub for eggs, etc. Luckily, we are on lock with Reef Primer. It's relatively gentle, potassium chloride based. We've got a lot of the shots. Each one does 5 liters. We're gonna have to eyeball today. Got 2 little fishies algae erasers. I use these all the time in the studio, not just for algae. We've got a grafted Astreopora down here that has encrusted itself onto the glass. And here is what we're gonna do. And make a bunch of frags in the process, and now it's up. And now we shake, get all the detritus off of it. Grew completely flat. Gonna give it a quick dip in the Reef Primer. Shake it off. There's usually not a lot of flatworms or anything on these guys, so just a quick rinse. And then we're gonna bring it over to the station. For Robin is life, replacing the corals in the 375. And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna do it again. Our most stable system right now is the 3rd coral flat. So we've got the grafted Herodinsis still. It's doing really well. And we're gonna bring it over to the 3rd flat where it's gonna continue to grow and do well for us. These colonies have grown in the last couple of years. There's the entire tile that it's encrusted over. We're gonna let them continue to grow and not frag these up. It's a really nice grafted Astreopora. Only a few people have this strain that I've seen in the US. Need to get the glass a good wipe down and fix some placement, but for now we've thrown all the corals from the IM rows into the 375. We are now draining the flat, which we presume is leaking, into the 2nd flat, which we have moved on this wall because the electrical has now been taken down for this entire wall The electricians mocked up a way to run the furnace to a circuit which is active, so they can demo this wall. I think the new look is 1, 2, 3 flats, ATO system. Then we have this entire wall to put tanks on. Of course, having to mix some more salt water to fill up the water that was lost to the floors. Golden has recently added chloramines to the water, so we have upgraded to a full aficionado unit from Aqua FX. We've been cranking it all day, so you can see that we need to replace things. We're almost out of DI resin, so shout out to Jeremy from Aqua FX. He agreed to send us a big supply of it today so we could re-up and fix the situation. And of course, for salt, we use Julian salt for accuracy. Super nice. I like his trace element sorting argument. The argument that Julian uses is that most buckets of salt, because of the density of all the different traces and minerals, most of your vital traces will actually go to the bottom. So if you're not using the entire bucket, you're not adding your traces. To remedy this, he keeps it in 45-gallon pouches. So that's perfect because we can just add a couple of them to here, and we're using all the traces, and it takes no measuring required. Super simple to mix our salt water. I found my anemone shrimp I bought for Black Friday. I thought he had been lost in all of the chaos. Super cool, he's got like an orange tail. The mangrove tank is the most interesting to break down. We're going to drain the water into a 60 breeder that's underneath grow lights that Jake used for his plants from Kessel. And we're going to momentarily have them in that system. We also got these really cool, I don't know what they are, from Reef Chattanooga that are kind of like an air plant. And they're semi-terrestrial. They've been living in the tops of the mangroves. So we've got 3 of those as well. Rob is gonna take the giant blue carpet because there's not really a good spot where we can put it now where it won't eat expensive fish. Then the leathers, the abalones, etc. will come out of here and move to a different system. As of now, we've drained and cleaned out most of the tanks. It is a mess. The studio was clean until today. Most impressive finds of today. Bologna, the size of a gumball. Right, we still need a flow and a heater in here. You put the pair of clowns as well as the Brazilian flameback angel that were in here. I'm gonna prune them. I'm gonna turn this Kessel and get it on, and I'll bring this out a little bit so those branches have some room, and that'll be their temporary spot. I got some Chaeto Grow and some other freshwater fertilizer, so I'll utilize that for the time being. One of the tropical abalones. We've still got plenty of them here, and they're going to go into the new flat. You don't see them out that much. They're more nocturnal, but boy, do they have a grip. Pretty cool. They really clean up stuff quite well. Here it all is, the morning after. It smells tremendously bad in here. There's gonna be really big process of organizing all the dry goods again, the new equipment to test. Everything on this wall has to be moved. Gotta undo my glorious cord management here. Undo the calcium reactor, all the dosing systems. I'm gonna need a Red Bull. Zach's here helping me out. We're now in the process of cutting all the plumbing and moving the innovative marine wall. We're gonna go and put the Ultra Reef skimmer on here. I got this new Reef Factory dosing pump we're gonna use to set up dosing on here. Flow's off right now so we can organize the coral. We've cut the plumbing. Looks like there was definitely some, this bulkhead was not tightened. And we moved everything from against the walls. So now we're gonna check for leaks, evaluate them. We know for sure the small IM has a pretty bad crack in it. We know the sump has a crack. So we will now evaluate the rest of the systems for damage to see if we can use them. or to see if we're gonna have to get some new tanks here. Gonna clean the floor up, gonna move all these systems to the back for evaluation, and then we're gonna have to dismantle all of the cord management and mounting solutions for lights. All right, it's day 3. Still a big mess here. Goal today is to move these systems out. Cleaned them out pretty well, but you can never get everything, so pretty putrid smell in here. Iodine, sulfur. And then getting lights mounted on the flats. It's been about 3 days. There's been some residual light from these Kessels, so not nothing, but they certainly need to get some light on them. And then I need to start organizing all of the junk. While the systems were down, we decided it would be good to give each of them a cleaning because they started to smell. Now that it's damp, we're gonna use Julian's algae eraser with the extension to go and scrape all the walls, because even the pressure washer was not able to get them clean. I'm exhausted. I've been going I don't know how many hours trying to get all this stuff cleaned up, but the smell is nauseating. It is terrible. I do not want to be breathing this stuff in anymore. So here's a look at how much of a mess the studio is. All of that over there was completely cleaned out. Everything was organized, and we've just, it's everywhere again. There's the hole in the wall. You can see quite the bulge. We put a lot of the corals that were half, 50-50 gonna make it in there, and some of them have survived, but a lot have died. It just smells like sulfur. I've got an extra max spec skimmer, one of the jump line ones, and I'm gonna throw that on there tonight and throw some carbon in there and then do a 50% water change. Lights go up tomorrow on the flats. We're gonna get the Kessel A500Xs, and we're gonna hang one of the rail systems from the wall, or from the ceiling, and we're gonna put radions on it. So we talked to the landlord today. The insurance company should hopefully come by, but I'm not gonna hold my breath timeline wise, so I'm gonna have to run the furnace extra because it's so cold in here. And we're gonna have to put a plastic tarp and tape it over this hole in the wall. And hopefully that'll help a little bit too. But I'm gonna add some extra heaters to the systems in here because it has been getting pretty cold at night, 65, 64. So the tanks are running about 1 to 2 degrees cooler. The heaters are definitely at their capacity right now in order, with keeping up. So we've got the Deltec calcium reactor, but it took quite the hit, direct impact from the car. So I don't know if I want to, take the risk of setting that up and then going back to Kansas for the holidays and have it not work. Clean stuff up today in terms of the tanks, get them sterilized, 50% water change in the mangrove system. Gonna get lighting up tomorrow, and then after that, we're gonna get everything cleaned and organized again, hopefully. And by the time I come back up here, hopefully the hole in the wall is fixed. And then it's time to keep rocking and get some new tanks and see what we can do. We have done our best to seal the breach. You can see though the amount of air that's actually been coming in through here, inflating our little pocket here. So it's been getting quite cold at night. Not good for the tanks. Not good. Ultimately, this is not the studio update video I wanted to give you all. I've done a lot of work the past several months. I've been coming up here once a month from Kansas to help clean things and get them organized. And I had finally just got the studio to a place that I was happy to show off. That day, I decided to film. The car hit the studio, and now here we are. It's been a lot of work, a lot of very long hours, and there have been a lot of losses. If you tuned into the podcast, much more has happened since then. And there's a lot of coral that's died. It's quite sad. But we're not gonna let that stop us. I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep updating everything at the studio. And this just allows us a new start. I can get all of the tanks I've always dreamed of now. I'll have plenty of room on this wall once we redo it and redo the electrical. I'm thinking cold water reef. I'm thinking jellyfish, seahorses and pipefish. I'm thinking NPS system that's completely automated with auto feeders. And I'm thinking a space to have some test tanks to test a lot of the wacky theories and methods that I have in mind. So, while the studio will be different, the studio will still be around, and I hope that you all join me on my journey to rebuild it.